Folks, hot deals. That's how we're starting the show. Hot deals. Hot deals. It's Circuit World. Do I have volume? Are you sure? Yeah. I've already had to fix it 3 times. What would you do without me? What would you do without me?
If you drop the soundboard on the concrete ground outside, you might not ever have to worry about having sound.
Sam tells everything. I'm your host, BKP, and we are live this morning, Friday morning, Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. We got JR over here waiting to take your order, deliver your order. Oh, yes, we're doing the kitchen table. We just decided this morning we're going to go with the kitchen table. This is going to be great because the All-Star panel, we're going to get around the kitchen table. I think it's going to look great. We're going with this. Dr. Whaley will be right here in 15 minutes. No, I am at Circuit World, and we've got these hot deals. This kitchen table is $5.99, $4.99 a month, $12.99 a week. And if you come in, go to the counter, tell JR, say, get serious about this kitchen table. Get serious so I can buy it today. At 8:15, did I already say this? I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from Circuit World Blue Ridge. Let's see what else. At 8:15, we have Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley. He will be here. We ask him several questions. He will be here at 8:15. At 8:45, we're going to be talking about fire and ice for about 5 or 6 minutes. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you will, because fire and ice chili cook-off. Come on. Who doesn't want some chili in February? It's a rain or shine event in downtown Blue Ridge. Fire and ice. We're going to have somebody with us at 8:45 to tell you all about that chili cook-off. That's something you don't want to miss. Thousands attend, and it's worth it. So we're going to do that at 8:45. Then at about 8:55, we're going to have the All-Star panel, all right? And we're going to have Bruce is on vacation, so Rick and Jane will be here, and we're going to talk about the week in review. And that's basically what we do on the All-Star panel every week is we take the biggest news stories and we kind of review them and what's going on, whether it be news, politics, current affairs of any kind that's happening. We do that on the All-Star panel, and that'll be at 8:55. Then at 9:30, about 9:30, 9:35, we're going to have Team FYN Sports weekend review with the director of Team FYN Sports, Jason Banks. And we're going to tell you now, we have bad news. There'll be no pet of the week, okay? They have had something come up, a medical emergency this morning that they're not able to bring by our star of the show. We could at least get a text of a picture of a pooch, or something. How can we let this audience go through? But we will still talk about the Humane Society of Blue Ridge before we end the show today. All right, where do we start? I say that all too often, and this morning, and I want to ask, and this is going to be such a question from here to here, that the All-Star panel is going to say, well, where do we start, and do we only have 45 minutes? But it's like, what's wrong, America? What's wrong? And this is something that I want to bring up because at my age, okay, even in my youth here. At my age, so many discussions this week of how it used to be and how we did not worry about this. We live in North Georgia, where at one time, we'll just go back to the 80s. We won't go back to the Ice Age in the 70s, but we'll just go back to the 80s. You could go the local high school where I'm sitting today, Fannin County, Georgia. Gilmer County, Pickens County, Union County, north of us. But right here where we're sitting in Blue Ridge, Fannin County, Georgia, you could go over to the student parking lot, and yes, you will find multiple pickup trucks, which is fine. But what you would find in the back window is a gun rack. And you actually see a gun hanging there in the gun rack. And I'm going to say girls, right? There was nothing for the guys or girls to take their gun rack, put it in the parking lot, go into school. Never crossed anybody's mind what to do with a gun. Never crossed anybody's mind to do anything. So what changed? What changed in our children? I mean, I don't know. I haven't been there. I haven't been to school in several years, right? You can tell that. I've been out of school for a while. But what I'm saying is, we used to get off the bus, go through a door, have multiple teachers, have 6 periods or 7 periods of class, 55 minutes, 45 minutes. We used to have a lunch period. We used to have, a homeroom, whatever, study hall. I mean, I understand technology has changed the way we present information, that we're teaching our children. What has really changed? What has really changed? JR, put your hand down. JR wants to tell. He's got his hand up over here, and I'm not going to let him tell you. But what's really changed in this country? Why do we talk about kids, so many kids in mental illness? I mean, Nicholas Cruz, 19, he was went between, he's the one that murdered 17 kids, all right? 17 kids in a Florida school. We know so much about this young man now that he has been in and out, I guess, of mental institutions or facilities. What has changed? This 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz stood before a magistrate yesterday, 17 counts of murder. What's happening? The mental illness, what's going on? Social media. I'm the last generation, okay, and I've told somebody this several times. I happen to be in the last generation that we wondered whatever happened to anybody, okay? So we got out of high school, and this kid got accepted into this college, and this kid got accepted into this college, and they went off here and there, and this kid went to work in the coal mines, this kid went to work at the gas station, this kid had an uncle out in Ohio, whatever. Next thing you know, the high school class all dispersed, right? We dispersed. We're all over the country, different places, all right? We didn't really know what happened to each other. You get a letter in 10 years saying it's a 10-year high school reunion if they could find you. You get a letter in 15, you get a letter in 20. We're the last generation that wondered what happened to some people. And then Facebook come along. And for my generation, Facebook was exciting at some points. Because, all of a sudden you find that person you hung out with in high school. And those 4 kids that, you hung out with, you're like, oh, they're here and look at their kids. So for my generation, it was a reconnection, okay? And I always love to tell the story. There's a friend of mine I used to hang out with. I won't say party. We don't use that in language in this show. There's a friend of mine I used to hang out with all through high school, right? I hadn't talked to the guy in 20-some years or whatever. We get Facebook. He finds me on Facebook within 2 weeks. I sent him a message that said, there's a reason I haven't been looking for you for 20 years, all right? So, you know what I mean, So that was bad, right? Was that mean? Yeah, that was mean. Anyhow, what happened to our kids? Social media, they are connected. 8, 9, 10 years old. Snapchat, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook. They are connected at all times. But the question that I get in trouble is, where's mom and dad? Why are we not allowed to talk about mom and dad? Why is that bad? Where's mom and dad in all of this? What are your rules on social media? You're going to tell me, hey, you're saying social media is the reason this kid walked into school? No, I'm not saying that. What's happening to our kids? I mean, this kid went on YouTube and he said, hey, I plan to be a professional school shooter, and the FBI knew about it. I just really think, we look for all of these reasons why, and we're going to study. I told you this yesterday. My question is we have the teacher or the security officer, and I think he's a security officer, assistant football coach. Aaron, how did you say his last name? Feist. Okay? Aaron Feist, security officer, assistant football coach. Threw his body, I try to do this without tears, threw his body in front of bullets to save kids. All over the TV, he's a hero. My question is, Why do we have to have these heroes? Why are we having these things happen that we have somebody that's a hero? Why does the security guard not have a gun? Why is his defense of these children his body and he's dead today? When, you know, you go in the house, I knew I was going to get wound up, and you got this crazy woman. I swear to God, this woman's crazy. Nancy Pelosi is crazy. I mean, I can't believe that one commentator could say the word mental illness and then run a clip of Nancy Pelosi in the same minute and not say example. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know who's upset out there, but Nancy Pelosi is crazy as all get out. And you've got these people on the floor saying that it's the fault of the Republicans, or it's the fault of the NRA. It's because we don't have the discussion. We're not having the discussion. We're not doing the things necessary in Congress to protect our children. It's the discussions we're not having. You know, my dad had, and this is probably where, you know, if I was on regular TV, I'd get thrown off the air. But I'm on the internet, so, and I own the place, so I'm not going to fire myself. Here's the point. You know, my dad had a whole string of belts that hung up. Okay? And let me tell you something. There was 5 of us kids in the house, and we knew which belt was the whooping belt. Now, if that made you laugh at me, now you want to say whipping, but now my family was from the South, you got whooping, all right? And we knew which belt hung there that was the whooping belt. And we knew when Dad got home from work, if he went in that room and we could hear belt buckles rattle, we know Mom had called him throughout the day and told something we was hoping Mom did not say. But we knew she said something. And we heard those belt buckles rattle. And if that whooping belt came out in the living room and he called all 5 of us to stand in front of him, and he started interrogating us on who did what, I know. For some of you, I'm making no sense at all. But for me, I just think, you know what? A security guard with no gun. We're going to talk about mental illness. Joy Behar on The View said this week that our Vice President of the United States, when he said that he heard God talk to him, Joy Behar on The View called it mental illness. Now she's backed up and said, well, she's a Christian because, you know, she gives money to the church. DACA. I'm going to be running along here. I want to make sure I give Dr. Whaley, he has a lot of pictures today for the questions that we have for Dr. Whaley, so I want to give him plenty of time, and I want to make sure I give the all-star panel enough time to discuss this. But I guess my question is, why do we not have armed teachers? Does that upset? How many people does that upset? Why not? Why do we have security guards that are not armed in some of these schools? Why? But the big question is mental illness. All right? What's wrong with our kids? What's wrong with our kids? You know, maybe tell them to turn off the Xbox and go outside and play. Now, let me tell you this, all right? This is like the 5th time I'm in trouble. But if your kids, Lord, you know, Mama said never talk about people's kids because that's when. But if your kids, if you do not have, what is it, the Bactine spray for, you know, like if a kid gets scraped. Now, when we were kids, we had that old Mercurochrome. Is that what's called, Dr. Whaley? We had you had a bottle of Mercurochrome in the right in the medicine cabinet, all right, and you had Mercurochrome, and when we were kids, and we had you got that Bactine spray and stuff like that, and you got peroxide in there, and it ain't just turn your hair blonde, okay? So we had all those things in the medicine cabinet. Let me tell you something. If you're 10 years old today, and your mom's never said to you, this is going to sting, then you need to turn that Xbox off, get your ass off the couch, and go outside and get your knee scraped or something till you have to have something put on that says this is going to sting. I know I'm all over the place, but I want to know what the heck's going on. Because my generation, we're talking every day about, hey, we used to not do that kind of stuff. Anyhow, Boy, I better go to break. How much trouble you think I'm in, Sam? Take a vote. From 1 to 10. 10 being the most trouble.
Probably an 8, but you're right on point. This time, I'll give it to you.
Sam gave it to me. I'm going to take it when I got it. Dr. Whaley, right after this message, Dr. Whaley asked the doc. JR's over here waiting to make deals. We're at the kitchen table this morning. I'm really enjoying this. Take us to break.